such an asshole.
Got an interesting question. Nothing terribly exciting, but I still find it interesting. Let's go to the original one. Hey, Cappy, love your show. Appreciate the no holds barred attitude. I believe I have a lot in common with you, but honesty like we have is hard to find. That being said, I need some straight up honesty, so it's hard to come by. I'm paying for it on the internet. Holy shit. Well, what were you going to do? Rely on your teachers and the mainstream media? Do you want to become a millennial? What do you really? Here's the skinny. I'm 21, bought a house last year, and I'm currently remodeling it, but it's slow going because I've been working 5/12s. My job's not that taxing, but it is physically demanding enough to leave me pretty shot on the weekends. I work. You work a real job, a real physical job. I drive a 25-year-old truck I picked up for $5. I keep that sucker minty. Obviously, it costs me basically peanuts to run because I can and do fix and maintain it myself. Where have all the good men gone? Where have they? I don't know. They just disappeared. Also, I'm not blowing what money's left over on dumb shit like fancy wheels, bimbos, and bars. Who uses the word bimbo anymore? I do have a minor tool addiction, but they've already paid for themselves twice. So potato. I do contribute to my retirement as much as possible. Currently sitting on 25,000. It's you're 21, and you all did it by not going to college. He did it by not going to college and working. Holy shit! I wonder how kids can afford a house. So financially, I'm not really concerned about anything major. Basically, the biggest decision I'm facing right now is whether it's a bad idea to move back with my parents and what to do with my house if I do. Here's the plan. I want to accelerate progress on my house and get it done. Then I would like to rent it out. Okay. And then I'm not going to mention where you are because I don't want you being identified, but I don't know what the rental laws are and specifically what the tenant's rights are. Generally speaking, going forward, because if you were to rent out the property, you'd be looking at that long term. So you've built up this tremendous asset. You'd ideally like to at least rent it out for 10 years to different tenants. But what are the tenants' rights in that state, in that town? And what's going to happen to property taxes is another thing. That's my main concern there. It sounds like you're in a relatively conservative area, but I don't know what the state laws are. But you need that is one piece of the missing puzzle. One piece of the missing puzzle you need to figure out to even know if renting out your place is worthwhile. Generally speaking, I do know that if you live in the place, you have a roommate agreement and you don't have to worry that much about landlord rights. Like, no, you can kick out your roommate. I own this place. So if you're there and that's a roommate, you have a roommate agreement, that's different than someone who actually leases the place and it's their own according to law, and you are the landlord and owner of the property. And you're of the young enough age that you're in this sweet spot where most of your friends do need a cheap place to live. A friend of mine did it. I wouldn't say he became rich, but he definitely made his life a lot financially easier. Buying early, renting out to all of his buddy. He sold it at the peak. And then he bought his new house at the bottom. I'm like, there you go. I think that is the best rental scenario you have for that house, but I could be wrong. In other words, I don't see you live in a room, you rent out the other rooms month to month. Say, here's the deal. If you don't clean up after your shit, you give me any crap, I kick you out. So it's month to month. You pay me a month in advance. You're giving me a deposit. No fucking around. And that's the harsh conversation you have to have with your friends. But that's an option. Get it done, rent it out. There was also potentially free me up for more overtime. Right, but as long as you finish it, yeah, it'd free up for more overtime. I want to know if there's any unforeseen consequences or advice you may have when it comes to renting and possible negative family dynamics. I don't know what your family has to do with you owning a rental property. Now, if you got the type of family like, your pothead brother really needs a place to live. No, fuck him. You tell your parents, fuck off. No, this is my house. Whose house? Run's house. And this is a business. This is no bullshit. You're not working 5/12s and slaving away on the house to give people free lodging. I see, and even normal people, they think like, well, you have a house. You should help out your family. Fuck my family. Fuck them. You got money? Because I have friends that have money. You don't have money? Fuck you. But even when, not that long ago, charged my girlfriend rent. How could you do that? Because I fucking slaved away. Fuck off. Oh, how dare you? What? Treat a woman equally? How dare you be a sexist asshole, sir? So I don't know what problems you're forecasting with family dynamics, unless you mean when you move back. Maybe that's what you mean. I want to know if there's any unforeseen consequences or advice you may have when it comes to renting on possible negative family dynamics. Currently, my relationship with folks is outstanding. My dad is my best friend. The other option is flipping the house. Could damn near get 30 to 40K in my pocket if I sold. I just didn't see the point in missing the prospective income. Again, looking to see if there's any holes in this plan or if it really is a better alternative to just offload the place. Look, dude, you're going to need okay, before we go to your third option, let me address this one. You're inevitably going to have to move out of the house. All right? You're inevitably going to have to move out of the house. I don't see why you have to go through all the pain assery that you did earlier with a realtor and getting funding and a mortgage. I mean, what I should have asked what your interest rate is on this house. Because if you got it a year ago, you probably have a really good interest rate. Right? But looking at it long term, you're going to need a place to live long term. I asked you in a follow-up email, and you said you plan on living in this area long term. Well, why? You got to move all your stuff out. You said you got a bunch of tools. Maybe did it dawn on you that maybe your dad wants to start banging your mom once again now that you're out of the house? I see no reason you are adding more work over the long term of your life. It won't be now, but you're adding more work where you have to move now twice again, move back to your parents' place. Then inevitably when you get your own place, then you move back to your second place. And then you also have to go for another house hunt and all and on and on and on. And if you want to do the math on this, I bet when you add up all the time you're going to have to spend moving out, finding a new house, moving back out to the new house, you probably could finish the house and then you have your house and you're done. And now you have a place to live for the rest of your life, or at least for a significant foreseeable future. And you can rent out the room so you get the upside for rental property there. I don't. Why would you do all this? Look, I built this boat, but I'm not going to take it out sailing. Dude, you got that. It's a money saver. It's a rent saver. It's also an investment with the equity that would be built up over time. Why do it twice? 30 to 40K. Think about, is it worth $35,000 to have to move twice and then go through this process again and pay realtors fees? Like, what's 7% of the purchasing price? You're probably losing money. So whatever capital gains you might have had, 30 to 40 grand, that's going to be wiped out in the realtor's fees in the next place you buy and all the moving, all that. No. There's also a third option. It's not my favorite, but I could just live there and keep up the place until it's paid off. Yeah. Yeah. Here's another thing. Don't you want your own place? Why not? Why not just have your own place? It's yours. And again, if you're bored, rent out the rooms. That's what I would do. Why'd you buy it if you didn't want to live there? To clarify why I want to change the situation instead of just living here, here we go. I've learned this is not what I want. I like to play cards, build motors, and ride trails, not remodel bathrooms and be consumed by an aging house. I'd rather buy a finished house to live in when I could save up enough to buy one. No, dude, stop being a white girl from the suburbs, okay? You've been getting a little too close to that white girl blood. Now, I'm not saying you injected it in your veins, but you did take a sniff. Well, I don't like remodeling a house. I'd rather just, what I'd rather like to have. What is it, Trisha? What would you like to have? You see, I would like to have this little pristine house and it's all brand new with new appliances. No. Finish the house. Then you'll be done. And then you'll have a house and it's done. And yes, you might have to do some maintenance, but that's all the houses. And new houses, by the way, just so you know, doesn't mean there's no maintenance with those. It doesn't. I mean, I'd have to go look at your old house. You'd have to hire an inspector. Oh my God, there's so much more wrong with your current house. Oh yeah, new would be better. But the new houses ain't a guarantee either. Because why? Because modern day carpenters are a bunch of cockfuckers, a bunch of incompetent and net irresponsible, unprofessional dick suckers. That's what they are. So I guarantee you, like, well, I can't guarantee you, but there's a pretty good chance the brand new houses being built probably, God almighty, Lord knows what's wrong with them. I like to play cards. Too fucking bad what you like to do. Yeah, okay. So finish the house and go play cards. Build motors and ride trails. Not remodel bathrooms or be consumed by an aging house. Well, here's another thing. You do know there is a finite amount. There is a finish line to this house, right? I pride myself on the fact that I got to the finish line on my house as quickly as possible. I had to do landscaping, had to put in retaining walls, had to do draining, had to line the pond. God, I don't know, literally hundreds of it. Put in the shelving, put in the whatever, the shelves, and then storage, all of it, all the assembling of furniture. Oh my God. Never had I had to buy furniture before. I never want to do it again, but it was done. I didn't wait. I didn't lollygag. I'm not the typical American who just pushes it off. Wife complains. Ladies, you want a reliable man. I'm your guy. Ooh, reliable. That's so dry. Oh, couldn't you commit a crime and said, I'm sorry, I'll go commit a crime and then I'll be reliable. No, finish the house and then you can play cards. And here's another thing. You sound like you're handy. If you finish the house, you know you've done it right. And there's only a limited amount of bathrooms to remodel if you need to remodel them. Paint, maintenance. I don't know if you got siding or if you got to paint. The water heater, check the plumbing. Sure, the drainage is good. Water ain't getting into the basement. I don't know if you got a basement or not. And then you could go play cards. I think if you do it this way, you currently finish the house you got and just live there, you'll free up more time. You'll be financially better off in the long run, thereby freeing up more time in the future. Don't be a white girl from the suburbs and think now. Okay? You need to learn delayed gratification. You could get a marshmallow now, or you could wait 10 minutes and get two. Don't be so stupid as to take the marshmallow now. Wait 10 minutes. Or in the case of this house, it might be a year or two. Put the year or two in, finish the house. Then when it's done, you'll put that final nail. I remember it was a final screw. It was in the walk-in closet. I had to do the shelving for the walk-in closet. As the last thing, I'm like, now I'm done. And then lightning struck. But you will get to that finish line, and then all that time you had to work on your house, now you can ride your bike, now you can play your cards, now you can do whatever you want. Rather buy a finished house to live in when I could save up enough money to buy one. No, I'd like a video on this. Your input is much appreciated. You didn't want me to read this, so I'll go up here. I said, well, what town is the house in? Do you have friends that you can rent the room to? Why did you buy it in the first place? And what are your life goals? You currently live in a place. Town is small, so houses are relatively affordable. Decent place, and I won't be moving far from here due to family proximity. And you have a very interesting hobby. It's a huge part of my life, so I'm not giving up that. All right, so good. One of the biggest questions of financial and life plan you just have answered. What do you want to live? You want to live there. You got a house there. This is an opportunity. Do you know how many times these dumb fuck boomers move? They move at least 4 or 5 times. New house, new house, new house. And where do they all end up? Florida or Phoenix. Dude, this is unless the house is in really bad shape and you don't know something about it, all right, you got your house in the community you want to be. I wouldn't sell it after especially you're going to fix it up and then get rid of it? No, live in it, enjoy it. I make a handsome salary. Again, where have all the good men gone? So for this area, that's ridiculous, especially for someone my age with only a mortgage. I purchased the house because it's foundationally rock solid. I knew the previous owner, which allowed me to get it for a lot less money. I went after this responsibility because I thought there was an opportunity to make myself more financially stable. You are, dude. You're 21. I bought my first house at 24. You're 3 years ahead of me, and you're doing all the work yourself. You are going to be way further ahead. Not everything is immediate cash and dash and grab or cash and grab. Imagine sitting on your ass in this house, and in 9 years, you're 30. You probably have most of it paid off. Lord knows with house prices what will be, but you probably be sitting on 200,000, I guess, 150,000 in equity. Very little debt. You never have to worry about homelessness. Opportunity to make it still needed updating, but everything I have done has increased the value of the house substantially. Right, that's great if you want to sell it. But don't worry about, here's what I would do. What do you need to just enjoy it? Don't be remodeling this to sell as some cocksucking dink couple with Sophia wanting, I didn't like the pink countertops. What do you want? Make it the way you want. Live in it. Enjoy it. I don't have anyone I could house hack with. My friends don't have any money. They went to or are still in college. They also lack basic skills like housekeeping. Yeah, because they went to college. College kids are idiots. Lastly, my goal is here comes a roast you're going to hate. I don't care what the red pill says. I'm going to do everything in my power to have a family. All right, well, you need a house, right? Actually, do want wife and kids. So you're going to need a house, right? If I can make that happen, I'm going to make sure I'm present like my dad was. I just need enough money to make that happen and not be a liability for them when I'm old. I don't give a fuck if I'm poor doing it. Money doesn't mean shit to kids. I'm going to be extremely selective when it comes to choosing a woman, though, as you should. If I can't find a woman with the same values and vision of the future as me, I'll remain single. Well, I'm going to recommend, it doesn't have to be today, but somewhere in your medium to longer term planning, you may want to be traveling overseas. And again, I'm not a big passport bro. It's just I've done the numbers and the calculations on how much time men are going to spend chasing girls domestically, trying to find a wife. Well, it's not looking good. So you may want to have some foreign travel in your plans. Don't get me wrong, I'm not rushing the process. Yeah, I mean, what's a 21-year-old girl gonna? I mean, I don't even have time to go out right now. If I'm single when I turn 35, I'm defaulting to plan B. No, that's about the time you should be looking for a wife. It's about the time girls are like, oh, they lied to us about everything. This is to build a massive garage in the woods with an apartment in it for myself. Well, I think you already have this. Stick with your house, finish it off, live in there, pay yourself the rent, aka build up equity through paying off your mortgage, rent it out to some buddies while you're single. Some of your friends are going to come back from college, right? They're going to have their college degree. They're going to graduate summa cum laude with honors and a 4.0, and they won't find a job. You know why? Because they went to college and they have no skills and they majored in dumb shit. They're going to need a cheap place to live. So they say, yeah, have your dad pay. I know you're Mr. College graduate. I know you're really intelligent. Have your dad pay me the rent. Charge $400 a room or whatever the going rate is. There you go. There you go. And so when you mentioned before that you're working 5/12s, I get it. That's a lot, man. That's 60 hours a week. Tough. What I want you to do is go watch 12 O'Clock High with Gregory Peck and understand the concept of maximum effort. And he does lose it in the end. Okay, just so you know, he does lose. It's not sustainable long term. But when I was 21, it was full-time school, full-time work. And just get it done. I have colleagues now, they're like older guys. South Dakota, like, you'll never get this house done. Look at this young man here. And I'm like, hey, guess what? I got done. You want to come over to my house and see my finished house where there's nothing left to do? Well, something will always pop up, as does all houses. But all projects on the house are done right now. That will be the normal. That will be the normal state of the house. Oh, sure, okay, you might have to replace a water heater in 5 to 7 years, but all projects will be done on the house. So there you go. I would keep your house. I would burn the midnight oil. Yeah, man, it's winter time. You might as well, there's nothing exciting going on in the state you're in during winter. I'd come back. I know you're tired. Maybe take a break, take a rest, and then get back to it. Go to bed, wake up. I remember I was working on I'd wake up at 6. I go to bed at about 11 or midnight. That's what? 6 to 6, that's 12 to 11. That's 17 hours. That's what it took for at least a couple. So now, admittedly, I only did it half a year for 3 years, 3 summers. But it's all done. I recommend you do the same. Then you run out to your buddies, and then word gets around. You know what you could do? You could have like nice house parties there. You know, don't get too drunk or anything like that. But then, oh yeah, he's got his house. And then some girls might pick up. He owns this house. Yeah, he didn't go to college. I don't know. He like works with his hands or something. Ew, gross. I need a soft hand investment banker boyfriend to jerk off my dick because I identify as a male because I went to college, even though I'm a female. Their hands are so soft. Yeah, man. Keep the house. And then going back to 12 o'clock high, the whole point is all war, especially World War II, was about resources. And they had to get the maximum effort out of the bomber group. And so it's like, too bad you're not going home. You're not getting leave. We have to keep doing this. You're going to have to double your efforts. No, we're not going to bomb from 10,000 feet. We're going to bomb from 2,000 feet. And they talk about it. What is the maximum effort? And if you put you got this hot piece of iron in front of you now. You got it this hot. By God, if you could put maximum effort into it, that is going to forge that iron, and you're going to make way more progress now than any other point in time in your history in the future. And if you just bang this out, like if you had the goal of having it done by the time you're 23, you'll be golden. And if you don't believe it, watch all the old timers telling you in the comment section. If you can get all your projects done on your house, by the way, don't make it. It has to be granite countertops. Don't go overboard, dude. It just has to be a nice, good house that you enjoy. Once you do all the fixing, okay, the painting and whatever, enjoy it. You are going to be so far ahead. So far ahead. All right. $2 from Drew. Home prices have skyrocketed. No way I'm selling. Yeah, that's another thing. You know, I'm going to sell now and go buy. Who's going to buy it? That'd be my question. Who's going to buy it with the interest rates being what they are? Bill Clinton touched Glenn. $2. Cappy so short his peep show is watching ants bang. Drew, $2. How long did it take you to build your house in South Dakota? It took the builders about 6 months. It should have taken 3. But again, they're sister fuckers. And then for me to go through and do all the stuff that would have normally come with that they're not responsible for, but all the other things that they screwed up, which was a fair amount. It took 18 months when you account for the fact I winter. I'm not there in winter. So it took 18 months of near full-time work. But it's done. You know, there's nothing left to do. Drew, $2. Did you have any bad tenants in Minnesota? Thankfully not. I had some questionable ones. They were millennials, right? When they were at their peak. They were at their peak when they were just right out of college and they knew everything. And this guy was complaining about the mold smell. So then I went down there and painted it with kills. He was complaining about the chemical smell and how it was going to cause cancer. And just this punchable fuck with his girlfriend. And it wasn't that got me out of renting or leasing, I should say, being a landlord. It was the property taxes where it just didn't make any financial sense. I can't charge enough in rent to cover my property taxes in 7 years went up 400%. You do not own your property in Minnesota. It is the city or the states. Drew, $2 never rent to family or bail them out. Never, never, never. But it's your sister. Fuck her. But I'm your mom. Too bad. Bill Clinton touched Glenn, $2 wife. You smell like diesel. Me, you mean money? Good. That's a good one. Drew, $2. You think we'll ever see low interest rates again? Yeah, I mean, yeah, over a long enough period of time, you'll see it. Sure. I think what will end up happening, especially with the younger generation, because everyone's going to become a social justice warrior, there's going to be no commercial demand for commercial loans. So there'll be less corporate demand for loans. Economic growth is slowing down. No one's getting their own house. Look at the client we're talking about. This is an exceptional man, 21-year-old homeowner. He's building it himself, or fixing it himself. That's the exception out there. Most people are living at home. Most people aren't going to be buying new cars. So there's the lack of demand for borrowable dollars could drive interest rates lower, certainly. But I'm actually not an interest rate expert. But yeah, I'm sure someday interest rates will come back down. All right, that's it. More on the way. See you guys later. Toodles.